The story of this supernatural terrorism adventure starts in Algiers, New Orleans. A ferry transporting soldiers from the USS Navy and their families explodes on a Mardi Gras excursion, causing 543 casualties. Lonely ATF Agent Doug Carlin is assigned to investigate the random act of terrorism. Agent Doug Carlin is called in by Sheriff Reed about the corpse of a woman, Claire Cutchever, that washed up near the incident. With further examining, the agents believe her death was made to look like she was a victim of the ferry. They determine her body was found an hour before the explosion, but was burnt with the same explosive. Doug's efforts on resolving the case are rewarded after he brings them more evidence he found regarding Claire. During this conversation, Doug learns his partner was ultimately killed in the explosion. To Doug's knowledge, his partner was out of town. The two FBI agents briefly discuss Doug's value, and soon after, Doug is invited by Agent Pricewar to join an experimental surveillance team, led by Supervisor Jack McCready. The team shows him moving images of the ferry from every angle. After a few minutes, he starts firing questions about the technology being used here. They tell him it's all done through satellites. They're 4 days behind because that's how long it takes for the information to be assembled. After the information is assembled, they can only look at it one time. Doug directs their focus on Claire's house since it's likely she was murdered by the bomber. She obviously feels the sensation of being watched. They observe her receiving a call from the terrorist asking to purchase her car. However, she tells him she will be busy, so they will reschedule the deal for the next day. Doug's curiosity about this technology urges him to point a laser at the viewing screen it shows on the wall behind her as she reacts to it. Meanwhile, the viewing room goes down completely. Doug angrily confronts them for lying about the system. He points out how she reacted to the laser. Dr. Denny explains it in simplest terms with a piece of paper, folding it to bring the 2 points together. He demands to know if she is alive or dead. They answer she is alive in the past and dead in the present. Doug wants to prevent Claire's murder. The team explains everything that was alive they sent back has died. They agree on a note written to warn Doug Carlin. The note successfully breaches the system, but unfortunately Larry, Doug's partner, spots the note and leaves to the ferry dock to follow the tip. The team cringes as they are sure they sent Larry to his death. Larry confronts the terrorist, and there's a brief altercation before Larry is shot and dragged into the terrorist vehicle. As they follow him, the team explains he is going out of viewing range. Doug learns about the Humvee mobile viewing rig and gives chase in present time so the past can be seen. He follows the terrorist to a burned-out fishing camp on the bayou. There is an ambulance crashed into the main building. Doug informs the team the terrorist will need a new car because Larry shot his. This brings the team to realize he needed Claire's car. He finds Claire's red herring at the side and he pockets it. The computer comes up with a match to Carol Orsted. He is hunted down in a fleeing attempt on a speedboat. Once he is captured, he's brought in for questioning. During the interrogation, Carol confesses to the crime. Agent McCready informs the team that they are shutting down their operation having caught the terrorist. There is no point in further pursuing the explosion and Claire's murder. Doug is frustrated. He'd like to stop the bad guy before it happens, not after. He stops at Claire's house and sees the magnet spelled out, "You can save her." Doug calls Dr. Denny and he agrees to help Doug travel into the past. FBI agent Pricewar tells Dr. Denny to turn off the lights when he is done. Kenny reminds Doug his heart will be stopped if he is not revived. He will die. Dr. Kenny presses launch. The entire central U.S. power grid is shut down and Doug is sent 4 days into the past to a hospital operating room. Doctors rush to treat him and read, "Revive me" on his chest. He awakens later to realize the transition was successful. Outside the hospital, Doug steals an ambulance and drives to the fish camp, where Claire is tied up getting doused in gasoline with a bag over her head. Not going down easy, Claire rakes her captor's face with her nails. In the midst of this, Doug crashes the ambulance directly into the main building. Carol shoots Doug and retreats. Carol stays long enough to shoot a gas tank, causing an explosion. Doug saves Claire from the explosion and takes her home to clean up. Doug shifts the magnets to spell, "You can save her." While Claire is cleaning his wounds, Doug realizes the bloody cotton swabs in her trash can were his. The two go to the ferry where Doug will defuse the bomb. Unfortunately, Carol sees Claire and knows there's a problem. Doug returns to the bomb-filled vehicle to find Claire in it, handcuffed to the steering wheel with her mouth taped. Carol's cover has been blown at this point and there is a shootout between the police, Doug, and Carol. Carol kills the guards and Doug exchanges words with Carol while being held at gunpoint. While Doug is distracting Carol, Claire springs the car at Carol, and Doug finishes the kill. The car is still wired to explode and there is no time to defuse or explain to the police what is going on. Doug directs Claire to drive the car into the water. As they submerge, Doug kicks out the window so Claire can escape. She is successful, but Doug is still trapped. Doug cannot escape, and as the time runs out, the vehicle explodes underwater, sending a fireball of debris in the air. As Claire cries over Doug's death, she's approached by ATF Agent Doug Carlin. As he cleans her up and begins to take her home, she doesn't explain anything. He stops and stares for a second before saying, "Nah, there's no way." And the movie ends. Thanks for tuning into Fast Flix. Since you made it this far, leave a like. Denzel Washington's performance in Deja Vu was excellent. Let us know what you think in the comments, and as always, enjoy the rest of your night.